Now we're moving on to our second speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Hisham Dzakiria from Universiti Utara, Malaysia. Dr. Dzakiria is an Associate Professor from School of Education and Modern Languages, College of Arts and Sciences, Universiti Utara, Malaysia. He is a prominent academician with more than 100 publications successfully attained. Dr. Dzakiria, welcome back to Lampung, Indonesia, online. You visited Lampung, Indonesia last year and spoke at our international conference, the second ICON ELTL at the time. Welcome back. And today, he is presenting the good, bad, ugly of COVID-19 and its impact on EFL. Let us create, let us innovate, and let us change. So without any further ado, I'd like to invite Dr. Hisham Dzakiria to present his topic. Dr. Dzakiria, over to you. Your mic, please. Dr. Dzakiria, your microphone, please.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, it is clear.
Okay, so thank you again, Gede, the chairperson for this afternoon's session. First and foremost, I would like to say Assalamualaikum and thank you for having me. It's always a great pleasure to be back, though I am only back to Lampung virtually, but I am honored to be in this very impressive function that you have had. You know, having 1,300 participants is very impressive, and congratulate to all the organizing committee. Yeah. So to the Dean of the Faculty of English, Dr. Ari, my colleague, Prof. Shankar, my colleagues at LU, Lombok University, all the webinar participants, yeah, very good evening, and I am again excited and also happy to be back here. Okay, so as Gede have just mentioned just now, the title of my presentation today is The Good, the Bad, Ugly of COVID-19 and its impact on EFL. Yeah, let's create, innovate, and change. Okay, so Prof. Shankar just now have talked a lot about having safe learning environment, which I concur, which is very important, particularly in FL, yeah? In teaching and learning of English as a foreign language. We do have to support a safe learning environment. But my approach to my presentation today is to go one step backwards. Before we can actually create a safe learning environment, I think it is also equally important that we look at what are the pillars to actually build the safe learning environment. Yeah, so I'll be talking about that. Yep.
Dr. Hisham, should I share screen? I mean your PPT.
Yeah, please. Yeah, you can have my PowerPoint on at the moment. Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead, get it. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So let's go from the top. Okay, so that is my title. If you look at the second page, yeah. So basically, all around the world, COVID-19 have actually impacted almost 1.2 not billion learners impacted throughout the world. So it has been a shock to many, particularly students, on how to cope learning at home, learning away from school, learning not having the teachers in front of them. You know, for many Asian learners, many research have shown that learners are actually very dependent. They want to see their teachers in front of them. But COVID-19 have actually impacted many of them, and many of them have, until today, are still actually learning from home. And many teachers are teaching from home. So we are actually in a situation where we are faced by the new normal. The biggest question for EFL teachers and educators is how do we actually cope with that, right? Let's go to the second page, get it? So let's look at the reality check, yeah? If you look at the reality check, COVID-19 pandemic is first and foremost a health crisis. That is, you know, it first came as a health crisis, and today it has actually gone into many other phases of our life. It's a learning crisis. It's a teaching crisis. It's, there are many crises that comes with it. How do we actually teach our students? How do we actually create a safe learning environment for our students? Yeah. Many countries, India, Malaysia, Indonesia, we have closed our schools, colleges and universities. And in Malaysia, for your information, we won't have face-to-face classes not till the end of the year. Most probably in 2021, we will then commence face-to-face classes. Yeah. So the severe short-term disruption is felt by many families. Families are equally impacted. How do they assist their children learning at home? How do they help their youngsters learning at home, right? Homeschooling is not only a massive shock to parents' productivity, but also to the children's social life and learning. How do they learn, right? So these are massive, massive issues that we all have to think about. Yeah? So teaching today is moving online, as we all know, right? On a unprecedented scale. For many years, almost 15, 20 years, I've been involved in research on online learning. And yes, we do have online institutions, but those were in a very smaller scope. But today, cutting across all kinds of schooling institutions, we are going online in a very big way. So how do we cope with that change? How do we actually change ourselves? And we all know today that many assessments have simply been postponed or cancelled. It is happening in Malaysia, it's happening in India, it's happening everywhere. You can't have the norms of yesterday. You have to create. So much so we have to reinvent our teaching and learning. How do we reinvent? So basically, when I talk about good, bad, and ugly, what do I mean? So COVID-19 have brought upon many deaths, right? Many sickness, many illnesses. We have seen many people are being displaced, lost their job. To me, those are the ugly phenomenon. To me, those are the ugly impact of COVID-19, right? Death is certainly a sad thing to face. Many people are losing their dear ones, and that is something that is seen across the globe, right? On a bad situation, our life is being interrupted. Teaching is being interrupted. Learning is being interrupted. You have lockdowns everywhere. In Singapore, they call it circuit breaker, which also means the same thing, right? So learning, working, teaching from home is becoming the norm. It is bad for some, especially those who didn't expect this to come so early, especially those who do not have the skills, right? Among the skill is digital literacy. Do we have a very good literacy among our learners on digitalization, on the use of technology? Are our teachers balanced with all the skills needed to go online? These are the things that we really have to think about before making our classes safe, right? So the issue that I wanted to bring to talk about this evening are the issues that surrounds the primary or fundamental pillars for all of us to have a good, safe learning environment. One of them is connectiveness. Let's go to the next one, Gede. Connectiveness. Do we have connectivity? Are we all connected? Yeah. Are we all connected? Right. So those are issues at hand that you're looking at now. Yeah. Which and what platform are best for EFL? How do we maintain interactivity and connectedness? How do we teach online? There are teachers who are not yet comfortable teaching online. There are teachers who find teaching online much more tiring, much more, there's a lot of demand to go online because we have not done it in a very big way, right? How do we ensure quality in teaching, learning, and assessment? How do we ensure that our test is as good as the in-class tests? How do we ensure and making sure that the tests, the examinations really do what it is supposed to do? Right? How do we actually create best assessments post-COVID online? So if you were to ask questions, there are many issues that we all have to reflect. One thing is for sure, 2020 is a testing time, right? It's a testing time. We have to work in a new normal. We have to change. That is the first thing. It's changing our mindset that we have to work in the new normal. We have to create a safe learning environment by making sure, number one, we have the connectivity. All our students are connected with the teachers virtually, like all of us today are being connected virtually in this wonderful seminar. Right? Secondly is the sense of being there. How do you actually create an environment that we all feel being there? We all feel a family. We all feel that we are in one classroom, though we are actually working virtually, right? Togetherness, right? And the most important part is interactivity. Whether you're teaching English as a second language, whether you're teaching English as a foreign language, the interactivity is crucial. How do we ensure our students are able to interact? How do we ensure that the students are able to actually feel free asking questions, giving answers, and how do we interact with them? And how do they interact with us, right? So these are the things that we really have to think about. Yeah. Next page, please, Gede. So I've talked about good, bad, and ugly. I also wanted to say very strongly that there is always sunshine after rain. So 2020 is a testing time for all teachers in EFL. It is new to all of us. Those who feel that they don't have the necessary tools to go online, they really have to buckle up. They really have to get into. They have to reinvent themselves. They really have to learn. They really have to pick up all the small essential skills for them to be able to go online and feeling good doing that, all right? With that, I also wanted to share three, again, more fundamental criteria that they really have to hold. First one is teachers, students of EFL must have a very clear purpose. Before you even talk about assessment, before you even talk about teaching, we must have a very clear purpose of what we do as teachers of EFL. What do we do? The purpose must be very clear, particularly post-COVID-19. How do we actually continue our professionalism in post-COVID-19? How do we teach effectively? How do we actually touch and feel our students? Yeah. We must also, number two, is being passionate. How do we be passionate about teaching EFL and continue doing that? How do we ensure our students too to be passionate about English, learning English, right? How do we create the for English as a foreign language among our students? And the third criteria that is equally important is raising your standard as teachers and students every single day. So whatever we do, we must actually build up, right? The love for the language. We must build up the assessment. We must build up the interactivity. We must build up all this safe learning, feeling atmosphere. Though virtually they are passionate, though virtually they have a very clear purpose on learning English. And I can tell you this, the good about COVID-19 is it is opening our EFL to the world. It is now that we must build collaboration with as many students as possible. It is now that we must actually build our networking with as many institutions as possible, with many schools as possible, be it in India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, US, Canada. We must build this collaborative work, whether it's in research, whether it's in English, in teaching, and whether it's in learning. And we must also encourage and build an opportunity for our students to be connected with students from all over the world. Yeah, all over the world. It doesn't cost us much. The technology is doing, the technology is the platform, right? So EFL, like what Prof. Shankar have said just now, will only become greater in the next, in the near future. It will only become stronger. 2020 is a testing time. It is an experimenting time. We are experimenting different platforms. We are doing things that we have never done before. Our students are also learning and picking up all the skills. But trust me, as what Prof. Shankar have said it nicely just now, COVID-19 will actually open up EFL to become a greater field, a greater discipline where our platform, our content, our activities will only become greater. 2021, 2022, and moving on, we will only become stronger. Can we go to the next page, Gede? Yeah. So basically, we really have to reflect as EFL practitioner. Yeah. What can we do? How can we change? Are we flexible enough to change? I like to take the next few minutes to talk about the next important thing that all of us in EFL must do, be it teachers or learners. Number one is flexible and flexibility. If we are all very flexible, then changing won't be very difficult. Yeah. If we all are flexible enough to try something new, then things will come. New things will come. New activities will come. The reason why I name my title, Let's Create, Innovate, and Change, is simply because we have to start creating new platform. We have to create new activities. We have to create new content. We have to create our deliverables, right? So that it is very effective to be delivered to students. We have to create new atmosphere. We have to create new likings for English, right? And I can tell you this, that technology, though it is not a silver bullet, it is not a solution for all, but certainly it is an enabler to EFL. We really have to actually use technology to help us feel our students, touch our students. They are virtual everywhere. So it's important that togetherness, the sense of belonging is maintained so that we are able to create what Dr. Shankar have presented just now, a safe learning environment. A safe learning environment must first, right, we must first create the feel, the love for the language, the passion for the language, the passion to teach, the passion to learn, right? We must raise our standards. 2020 is the year of testing. We are testing many things. But as we go on, our system, our content, our delivery would only become greater and stronger. Can we go to the next page, Gede, please? All right. So what are the possible solutions that we are looking at? What are the possible solutions? So number one, just now I said, the one pillar that is very important on solution aspect is flexibility. How flexible are we? How flexible is our content? How flexible are our students? How flexible are our institutions to go global, to build network, to create opportunity with other players in the world, right? Schools, colleges, and universities need resources to rebuild the loss in learning. Resources are everywhere. It is just not around us. It is around us everywhere in many different parts of the world as well. So this is where when we build the right network, when we have the right resources, when we have the right collaborators, EFL can become greater. This is an opportunity. If we create and do it well, our students will be able to actually converse, have conversations, though virtually, with students from United States, from UK, from South Africa, from India, from Malaysia, from Indonesia, and many, many more. There's 225 countries in the world. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that improve the competency of our students? If you compare to what we are doing before COVID-19, right? Classes and learning is only built within the four walls, right? Today, with COVID-19, you can have classes everywhere, anywhere. Isn't that good, right? And of course, the last one is educators must reinvent. This is what I've said. They must reinvent themselves. They must relearn how to teach. They must re-engineer what they do. They must look at the content. They must look at what they have today. And how can that change so that we can actually support virtual learning among our learners, right? Okay, let's go next, please. So learning is actually continuous, right? So if you look at this, but it is a very simple diagram here, we must be prepared for change. We must be able to cope, and certainly we must recover. So if we have all this domain anytime, anywhere, whatever barriers that comes to us, we can easily move to the next phase, the phase that we impose changes, right? So when COVID actually comes and becomes a reality, are we prepared? Well, for many, we're not prepared. So what I'm trying to say here, moving forward, we have to be better prepared, right? EFL is a liquid discipline, right? You can learn EFL anywhere, anytime, today. And the goodness about COVID-19 is it allows you to become creative. It allows you to innovate. It allows you to actually do a better, stronger EFL programs, right? So we have to be prepared. We have to learn how to cope. And of course, speed is another thing that I wanted to make known of its importance. The speed to change, the speed to make changes to our syllabus, the speed to make changes to our content, the speed to make changes to teaching using a different platform. The speed is the essence of success. If we do it rightly, if we move swiftly, if we actually change when change is required, right? Don't be afraid of making mistakes, because it is a testing time. It is an experimenting time. So mistakes will come, right? Mistakes will take place, but we will only become greater by giving us a chance to learn from the mistakes. So EFL is going to become greater if we know how to prepare, we know how to cope, and certainly we know what to change, right? Okay, let's go next, Gede. So moving forward, I want, and I'm asking all my colleagues to create learning opportunities. We must continuously build sustaining fun learning and teaching. If the learning, though at virtual, though online, is continuously be fun, that will only strengthen the purpose for learning, the purpose for teaching, and that will only enhance the passion of our students, right? Thirdly, build and strengthen learning communities across geographical boundaries. This is what I have said just now. COVID-19 have given us an opportunity to actually be connected around the world. It opens the doors to our students. So if we are able to actually come out with different content, i.e., let's just say you're teaching public speaking, right? You can add on activities that necessitate our students to actually do research or do their work with their counterpart in the neighboring countries or anywhere, right? So what we need to do is to create. What we need to do is to be creative. What we need to do is to innovate. Are you game for change? Because if you're not willing to change, then nothing will happen. We must start changing today, right? Next one is enhancing interactivity and connectiveness. Again, I'm coming back to my very important points. Interactivity is always there. It must be there, whether it's face-to-face or online learning. We must make sure that our classes, our virtual classes are always the interactivity is continuously being looked at and maintained. Connectiveness must also be there. So if you all have all these essential pointers that I have presented, then creating a very safe learning environment will come naturally, because we have created and we have ensured that all the pillars for a very safe classroom, for a very interactive classroom, for a very successful EFL classes is there. Yeah. Next one, again, because we are being tested, I also would like to invite all of us to actually continuously explore various EFL learning platforms. We have many, and trust me, all this platform will be revised, new ones will come, okay? Learning doesn't stop. So I'm asking all my EFL professionals to actually spend time every single day, get into YouTube, get into the technology of different platforms and learn. pick up all these essential skills because we need them, right? In Malaysia, for your information, there are many things that will not revert back to normalcy, right? Online learning is here to stay, right? In universities, for example, many of our courses, the online component is now established, right? And because of the man-hours spent creating all this content, all this platform, we're not going back. We are going to pursue and strengthen our online deliverables, right? So in the future, yes, we still have the face-to-face component of our classes, but certainly online learning is something that we will build on. We will start. We will revise it. We will strengthen it. We will have it as an alternative so that students in the future can have alternatives to choose. They can go online with us. They can also learn EFL, English, whatever subject matters face to face. So this, I think, are among the things that are very important or something that we must be grateful to COVID-19. Okay, can we go to the next one, Gede? So the next one is the importance of digital literacy. I've also talked a little bit on this one just now. I said technology is never a silver bullet. It is a learning enabler, right? Technology is liquid and continuously evolving, and COVID-19 forces rapid change moving towards online teaching and learning. Therefore, I'm asking again, all of us, we need to enhance our digital literacy, be it for teachers and for the learners. We must help all these important stakeholders to actually have the essential skills in order for them to learn EFL effectively anywhere, anytime. Yeah. Okay. Can we go next, please? So COVID-19, ladies and gentlemen, is actually reshaping EFL education. So education, we are pressed to change. I think in language education as well, we are changing. We are looking at all aspects, whether it's teaching, learning, or assessment. Assessment is a very important component. We have to ensure that the students are continuously being assessed for the competency that they're supposed to learn. Yeah. Public-private education, EFL partnerships could grow. I've talked about this just now. This is an opportunity for us to actually look at this, build this up, and hopefully we can all become friends and collaborate on many great, wonderful EFL projects and ideas. Right? However, I still wanted to stress that the digital divide could widen if we are not very careful, if you're not very serious about change, if you're not very capable, if you're not flexible enough, then you would find difficult to move forward. So I'm asking everybody, please take this opportunity, post COVID-19, as a time to reflect and change. And I've come to the last page, the conclusion for my presentation today. Yeah. So let's continuously, again, I'm coming back to my point from before, be passionate with EFL, have a very strong purpose to improve, enjoy teaching and learning, right? You must be passionate. You must be the good, great, fun, loving English teachers, right? Raise your standards, improve, revise, right? Create, innovate, change, enjoy, have fun. Thank you so much. That concludes my presentation, and I'm open for any questions and answers. Back to the chairperson. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Hisham Dzakiria, for the interesting presentations. We, as presented just now, that we have learned the teaching is going online, and we are now challenged on how to maintain actually interactivity, connectedness, and we, your teachers, should be creative, should be what else, innovative, and willing to change. And we need to enhance our digital literacy. Is that correct? Dr.
Yeah, that's a very
yeah.
good summary, Gede.
All right, thank you. And now we will take some time for questions now. Let me see the questions. It looks like we have questions in here.
Okay.
I'll pick up one. All right, this is from someone who did not mention his or her name. So the questions is about motivations in online learning. How do we encourage students' motivations in online learning? Because they sometimes feel bored. I mean, there is in some parts, at some point, I mean, the COVID-19 has positive impacts, and at some other point, it has negative impacts, like what you just presented. What do you say about that, Hisham?
Okay, I mean, motivation is key to learning, isn't it? Certainly, motivation to use online learning is also crucial. So how do you actually create motivation? I think it works both ways. I think teachers have the responsibility to actually inculcate that motivation. Number one, students have got to realize and admit that we are in the new normal. It's a new normal of learning. Students have to be, to realize that learning can now be anywhere, anytime. But students need, that's what I said, students need to actually improve their digital literacy. I mean, technology is fun if you are highly passionate. So it is the responsibility of the teachers to actually improve the love for technology, right? Loving to explore. So if we are able to actually pull the students, make it very appealing on the use of technology, then they would just come in. But number one, most important thing is we must make sure students realize that we are now learning and teaching in a new normal. If they wanted to improve learning, right, and pursue their career, they do have to actually learn and pick up all these essential skills. There's no other way doing it, because everywhere. Online learning is here to stay. It's everywhere, cutting across many nations. It is the way forward today. So by realizing the importance of that, and by making our students, our classes, our content appealing and interactivity, I think it will all end well. Okay? I always say that, Gede, that after rain, there's always sunshine.
Yeah,
it may be difficult. Yeah, it may be difficult now because it is new for all. It is new for the student. It is new for you, new for me, new for the teachers. But once we are accustomed to the new normal, I think things are going to normalize and things are just going to be moving very fast, very quickly, right? But we have to maintain the passion, the purpose, and also raising the standard. I think that is key. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Hisham, for the response to the first questions. I'd like to, because there was no name in here, I'd like to pick up another question from the University of Lampung.
There are still several questions from the chat.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
From Novita Nurdiana. She is asking what are the good teaching platforms, actually. I mean, the online platforms for teaching that can encourage students to actively participate in online classes.
Okay. Well, number one, there are many, right? For any teachers to actually browse through. If you do research, there are so many platforms. At the moment, just to share with you and also some of the participants of the webinar, I'm looking at today at a platform called Second Life.
Second Life.
Second Life is actually a virtual learning. Second Life is actually a virtual learning platform where you can actually build your own learning communities, right? You can build your own content, and you can also invite participants or students from different countries to get involved in Second Life. So I'm using Second Life aggressively. I've learned quite a bit from Second Life. You can also create your own avatars in Second Life. So your students can actually then communicate with avatars from Japan, from Indonesia. You can have your own communities. You can build your own communities. So so Second Life to me at the moment is a fantastic platform. But I'm not trying to say that Second Life is the best, but there are many. It is the world of online learning is yours to discover. But on my watch today, right now, I am actually exploring a lot on Second Life. There's a great deal of literature on Second Life as well. I've also published few papers with my PhD students on Second Life. And we are reporting that Second Life is a great virtual platform for EFL or for ESL, because it has actually proven to improve the students' competency in the language, because they are able to practice and communicate and converse at real time, synchronous with students from Japan, from America, from UK and all that. Yeah. So my advice to the person asking me the question is, there are a whole range of platforms, some of which you may like and you may enjoy, some of which you may find boring. Yeah. But nevertheless, find one that you love and explore more, and then try to use that platform for your own classes. And this is what I'm doing with Second Life.
All right.
Okay,
thank you,
yeah?
Dr. Hisham. I just heard the second. I just heard Second Life. Yeah. What about Novita? Novita, is it answering your question?
Yes, of course. Great answer. Interesting, Mr. Gede. Okay, Mr. Hisham, thank you. Great idea for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
check it later. Second Life.
The most important thing, the most important thing is have fun exploring the different platform. If you're having fun exploring different platform and really giving it time to learn what are the offerings, I think you will enjoy it. And like I said, post COVID-19 offers a lot of good changes, right? So therefore, I named this title of mine, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, because there's a lot of good things in COVID-19, particularly for people like you.
Okay,
like
thank you, Dr. Hisham.
All right. Well, Hisham, we still have a few questions actually in here.
Sure.
But I don't think we are able to cover them all.
Okay.
Questions, but I hope that the questions responded by the two speakers, you and Professor Sankar, have been quite representative. Well, thank you, Professor Hisham, Associate Professor Dr. Hisham Dzakiria, for your presentations and for your responses.
Most welcome, great honor. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Now, I'm sorry, everyone, the participants, ladies and gentlemen. We are aware that it is hard for us to cover all of the questions raised by the participants. However, we hope that, like what I stated just now, I hope that the questions responded by those two keynote speakers have been quite representative. I learned something like, for example, I learned that we have something that can be an effective measures, for example, for teaching EFL skills. And I just heard about Second Life. Thank you thank you for that. And it is quite, nice. We have learned a lot of today, everyone, on how to create positive classroom atmosphere or environment, how to teach EFL skills, particularly listening, speaking, reading. And in addition, we have also learned about the importance of creating learning opportunities. We should be creative, we should be innovative, and we should be willing to change. And then we need to, due to the COVID-19 crisis, we need to enhance our digital literacy. We need to create, innovate, and change. I'd like to remind you, everyone, participants, that to get your e-certificate, I think that our team sent you the link already. Please fill out everyone, please fill out the link and submit to us. to get your e-certificate. Otherwise, you will not get your e-certificate. Thank you, Professor Sankar, and thank you, everyone. Thank you, Professor Sankar. Thank you, Dr. Hisham, Dzakiria.
Thank you, everyone. Nice
Thank you all.
meeting all of you. And
Thank you.
special thanks to the university for arranging this, and congratulations and best wishes for tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow we have another international webinar. Thank you, Professor Sankar, Dr. Hisham, Dzakiria.
Thank you.
Hopefully, yeah. And all guests and everyone, thank you for joining and attending today's webinar, Online EFL Teaching and Assessment in the New Normal. I would like to remind you that tomorrow we still have another, another international webinar with two distinguished speakers who will present the topics about assessing listening comprehensions by Dr. Fahid, and assessing listening comprehension, what, why, and how, that will be presented by Dr. Fahid, and the future of L2 writing classrooms that will be presented by Dr. Christian. On behalf of the English Education Study Program, Department of Language Education and Arts, the University of Lampung, faculty, the University of Lampung, I would like to thank you everyone for joining us in today's webinar, and have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and healthy. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow.